So, when is it okay to judge others? Some people would say never. And there's a passage that talks about that. It says, "Accept him whose faith is weak without passing judgment." Okay, that's Romans chapter 14, verse 1. But I didn't finish the verse. Without passing judgment on disputable matters. For example, if you say the color of my shirt's red and somebody else says it's black, I'm not going to argue with you about it. I know it's red, but if you don't see colors like I do and you think it's black, that's okay with me. So that's a disputable matter, and he gives some examples. One man's faith allows him to eat everything, but another man whose faith is weak eats only vegetables. So it's a disputable matter. Don't make a big deal out of it. He says the man who eats everything must not look down on him who does not. And the man who does not eat everything must not condemn the man who does, for God has accepted him. Who are you to judge someone else's servant? They're God's children, and we shouldn't judge them on disputable matters, matters of opinion, in other words. To his own master he stands or falls, and he will stand, for the Lord is able to make him stand. And he goes on to talk about somebody sees one day as more sacred than another day. That's fine. If I don't see it that way, it's okay. It's a disputable matter. It says each one of us will give an account of himself to God. That's down there in verse 12. Now let me show you where the Bible says it's okay to make judgments. We're switching over to 1 Corinthians chapter 5. It's actually reported, this is verse 1, it's actually reported that there's sexual immorality among you, and of a kind that does not occur even among the pagans, which that's what they called unbelievers in the day. A man has his father's wife, and you're proud. So this is the son having sexual relations with his father's wife. That could be his mother, or maybe possibly his stepmother. But he says, shouldn't you rather have been filled with grief and have put out of your fellowship the man who did this? You have to make a judgment there that that's not okay. That's sexual immorality. And you don't want that hanging around in the church, because he says a little yeast works through the whole batch of dough. So hand this person over to Satan and so that his spirit can be saved on the day of judgment. You don't hand them over to Satan to condemn them to hell. You put them out of the church to show that Jesus means business about sin. And as a church, you're not going to recognize sexual immorality. He says, what business is it of mine to judge those outside the church? None. We're supposed to love them and bring them in. He says, are you not to judge those inside? We have it just backwards, don't we? God will judge those outside. Expel the wicked man from among you. It is right to make judgments under certain conditions.